Hi everyone, welcome back for another Spellbinders Club Kit inspiration video. Today I'm playing with the small die of the month for March, and this one is called Floating Bunny. This set has an interactive element to it that allows you to make your bunny float or swing back and forth. However, if you don't like creating interactive cards, you don't have to use that particular die. I think this is a great die set because you get a lot of stash building pieces like clouds and balloon strings, and a really cute sentiment that says swing into spring. So here are all the dies. It also includes some dies for creating the cutest little bunny. I'm going to be putting my card together today on my Spellbinders grid paper because I'm going to be doing some ink blending and a lot of gluing, and I just wanted to protect my work mat. So I'm starting out by working on the background, and I have some broken china, distress oxide ink, and a piece of really pale blue cardstock from Spellbinders called Glacier, as well as a little cloud stencil. This will be a mini slimline card, and it measures 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. I'm going to speed up the ink blending a little bit, but isn't that pretty how it just creates a cloudy background? You could create a regular A2 sized card if you'd like, but I just wanted to give my bunny and the swing a little more room to swing on. At the very bottom of this card, I'm just going to add a little bit of blue so you see a distinctive bottom edge to this panel. Now I can put this aside to dry. I already die cut all of my bunny pieces, and we're going to start putting them together. I'm using this piece of purple cardstock so you can see the bunny in front of my white grid paper. So let's start on the bunny's belly, and I'm using a R11 Copic marker to color it in, as well as the inner ears. You could, of course, cut these out with colored cardstock. Sometimes it's just easier to cut everything out with white and then use your Copic markers or ink or whatever medium you'd like to color in the little bits to it. I'll add some glue to these cute big floppy ears, and then I can just glue down the pink portion of the ears. I like how it has, or the ears have a little circle tab on the bottom, so it's easy to glue onto the bunny's head. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll add glue to the ears, and then I find it easiest just to pick up the head. I'll get my tweezers here. And then I can just pick up the ears with the head. I'm used to using my reverse tweezers, which you pinch to open up. These are just your regular pinch close tweezers, and I kept forgetting how to use them, so I'm struggling a little bit with these tweezers today. I'll glue on the head next. Behind the eyes and the nose, let me flip this bunny over. I'm going to add some cardstock, colored cardstock. I'll put a little teeny tiny piece behind the nose, and I'll just snip off the excess here. I got quite a long piece of pink cardstock here. Now I can just snip that off. And then I'll use little squares of black behind the eyes. Just putting little dabs of glue around the eyes. And then my pickup tool, pick up the black cardstock. The last thing to do for this bunny is to attach the arms. There are 2 sets of arms that you can die cut. One set of arms has a little paw that looks like it's curving around the strings or the swing, whatever it's holding onto, and it has a little slit in it to put the string in it. And then the other set of arms is just regular open arms. So again, I'll attach the arms by picking up the bunny and placing it on top of these little pieces. But I like the arms that look like they're wrapping around something. It's so fun. Now for the little tail, they just think of everything in these sets. And the tail has enough of a tab too that it's not going to come off. And here it is all done. Isn't that such a cute bunny? Okay, so I die cut several clouds using some Silver Fox cardstock, and this is just a very pale gray cardstock. I'll use a little bit of Versamark clear ink and just kind of scuff over the edges of these clouds. I want to give them a silver lining. So I'll pour over some silver embossing powder. This is from Wow, and it's called Metallic Silver Sparkle Embossing Glitter. And then just the very edges will be coated with this glitter. I'll use my tweezers to hold on to this when I melt the embossing powder, just to keep my fingers away from the heat. But I'm just gently flicking the back of it to get the rest of the glitter off. I just want it on the very edges. And now I can melt this embossing powder, and it looks so pretty on the edge. I'm just moving my tweezers so I can get the section that was covered by the tweezers. Here it is all done. I just love that effect. I'm going to do 2 more smaller clouds the same way by just gently rubbing the very edge of the ink pad across the edge of the cloud. You could use an embossing pen to do this as well if you have that. I'm using a piece of scrap paper to catch the embossing powder, and then I can just pick up this paper and funnel it back into my little container of embossing powder. So here's the second one. The third one I'm going to do off camera because I think you get the idea of what I'm doing here. But this provides just a fun little touch of sparkle to the card. Okay, this was the hardest part. I'm dealing with these very thin strings on the swing, and then this bottom piece where the bunny's going to stand. I'm using little dabs of glue to put the strings on. But once you get everything glued down, it's surprisingly sturdy. I have my card sitting here and I keep playing with it, and it hasn't broken on me once yet. I'm going to push the strings closer together so that the bunny can grab onto those. There's the swing. Now this is the mechanism that allows the swing to sway back and forth. So I'm not gluing this down. I'm just going to put a small square dot in this center circle. I want to make sure it still moves. And then I can peel off the release paper on top, and it comes with a little circle die cut. I'm looking for mine. There it is. And you just put that on top. You don't have to use that piece if you don't want to. You can just glue your clouds or whatever on top of that. Now I can glue the tops of the strings to this interactive die cut. I'll just hold those in place for a second, and then I want to keep wiggling it just to make sure I didn't accidentally glue it down. It kind of got caught, but if you just keep moving it and wiggling it, then you'll be fine. I'll attach the cloud on top of the mechanism with a little bit of liquid glue, and then I do have some more small foam squares just to give it some even dimension. And then I'll put that down and make sure that the swing can still move back and forth. We seem to be okay still. All 3 of the clouds I'm going to pop up with some foam squares. This first one I'll tuck on top of my larger cloud. Just have to adjust this foam square just a little bit more to the side. Then I make sure it can still swing. And then for the third one, I'm going to tuck behind the larger cloud. And again, I kind of have to move the foam square a little bit out of the way. After you put together your first card, then you kind of understand how everything works. And then your second card is going to be really easy to assemble. So my swing is still moving. And now I can attach this cute bunny. So I'll put little dabs of glue behind his feet. So he's standing on the swing. I'm going to slide the backing of my foam squares in front of the swing just so I don't accidentally glue the bunny to the background. And then I'll put little dabs of glue on either hand. Just gently move the string in front of his hand, but I want it to be behind his head. And if you don't get it exactly in his paw, you can just glue it over it and it looks great. Okay, so this is turning out really cute. I decided to use some flower dies from the card kit of the month for March to attach at either side of the swing. And I cut it out with black as well as a pink. I just wanted to have a little bit of shading behind the flower to coordinate with the black sentiment and the black strings. The centers of both flowers will be black. And I have some dahlia pink for my next flower. My first flower was pink sand. And then again, another black center. You could use liquid glue to attach these to either side of the swing, and that's what I was going to do at first. But then I decided to give it a little bit of dimension and put a little foam square behind it. But first, let's glue down the sentiment. It's a really pretty font. So we'll glue down flat the first two words up at the top, and then the spring we'll glue on the largest cloud. I like how the dot on the eye is attached. Okay, so this is where I was going to glue them down flat, but then I changed my mind. And I'll bring in a little teeny foam square. And I can just peel off the backing and put it on either side of the swing. And I thought this added more interest and more fun to the card. It just needed a little something at the bottom. But I didn't want to cover up his little feet or paws. This is a really fun and easy interactive card to put together. So here goes the last little flower. And it did get caught on the cardstock behind it, so I'm going to gently peel it up. I was going to add some anti-static powder behind these flowers, but it seemed to start moving just fine without getting caught. So we'll attach this to a mini slimline card base, which measures 6.5 by 3.5. It will have a cute white border around the main panel. And that's all there is to it. I thought about adding some gems, but I thought the sparkle on the clouds was just enough. And then your recipient will have a lot of fun playing with this little interactive card. But again, you don't have to make it interactive if you don't want. It just looks cute without swinging back and forth. And I love the clouds in the background. That was a really fun touch. I'm going to show you another card that I created with this set, and this one is not an interactive card, but I wanted to use these adorable balloons. I cut them out with colored cardstock from Spellbinders and attached all of the strings, which I cut out with white cardstock, and I just have the bunny holding onto one of the balloon strings. Isn't that cute? The bunny's belly and ears is made out of dahlia pink cardstock, as well as one of the balloons to kind of tie it in together. And then I used colorful gemstones that match the balloons on top of each balloon. The background is beeswax yellow cardstock, and I did some more ink blending over that with the cloud stencil and some white pigment ink. I hope you enjoyed this close-up look at Spellbinders' Small Die of the Month Club kit for March. Again, it's called Floating Bunny. I'll have all of the links listed below. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Bye.